Hi, and welcome to Prep Talk. I'm your host, Jay Seymour, and with me again is Rick Claus.
Hey, man.
How's it going?
Very good.
Good. Today we're going to talk about exam 70-412, which is the last exam in your MCSA for Windows Server 2012.
Yep.
Configuring Advanced Windows Server 2012 services.
Yeah, so your basic services were covered in the previous exams.
Yes.
These are the more advanced services that provide advanced functionality to your organization. Your organization could be a small organization, could be a large organization, but you see an awful lot of these ones in the largers and the mid-sizes because a lot of times the small organizations just don't have the requirement to be able to use some of these. So example of that might be Active Directory Federation Services, ADFS. ADFS is something that you can use to enable your pathway to the cloud. For a small organization to Office 365 or something like that. But ADFS here could also mean that you're doing a relationship with a business partner or with a hoster that's a non-Microsoft hoster to be able to federate your identity.
So if I'm Spectre and I want to federate with some other evil organization, this is the exam that I want to take.
That's the one you want to do, and you want to make sure you pay attention to that one there, as well as certificate services to make sure that you understand how to protect your data inside your organization from the other evil people inside.
So James Bond can't crack that code.
You got it. You got it.
So what else do we cover that really from like a cloud services? That's something that's really relevant these days.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're bringing a lot of functionality from the cloud into your environment with this particular exam. You're bringing in some things like automation and management. So, for instance, instead of just having DHCP to be able to pass out addresses to your end user clients, you now are going to be talking about IP address management, or IPAM, which is the new service in 2012, for being able to go off and to manage all your servers, to be able to manage your address space, to make it so you don't have to worry about those little pieces of paper and spreadsheets that track off which server has which IP address. Put in some automation to look after that and up your game from a sophistication level.
I use Post-it notes. That's bad?
That's really bad, usually. And especially because you have to cover them all over the place if you got 250 hosts that you're worried about.
You should see my office. It's messy.
But you're also bringing in some new security. We mentioned security services and federation services. This is also where we start to tickle the fancy around dynamic access control, which is a new security solution, which is not going to be replacing. It complements your traditional groups and users and securing access control lists. This is where you can actually go in and use metadata with objects in Active Directory to say you work in finance, not just the finance group. Therefore, besides getting read-only access to this file, you'll also get full control access to that file. And then as soon as that attribute changes in Active Directory, it gives you more rights. So again, level of automation, level of sophistication.
And a theme that we have through all of these MCSA exams is things like network services, and you mentioned the Active Directory infrastructure. How is this exam different than the other two exams?
So for Active Directory infrastructure on this side, we're talking about, again, larger than your standard single domain environment. So there we got trust environments, we've got forests, we've got site design, all those different pieces you have to have inside a good Active Directory when you're looking to grow, maybe acquire a new company and you want to bring them in and you need to be able to set up federation between them, that sort of stuff. Being able to do migrations from different Active Directories, that sort of thing. That comes into this particular exam from a sophistication level for Active Directory. But even things like providing extra levels of redundancy and resiliency. So you'll learn about high availability in clustering as one example. In this particular one, how to set that up, how to work with it, as well as things like, from a virtualization perspective, how to be doing virtual machine migrations between platforms, physical to virtual translations for machines, and also even disaster recovery with Active Directory, Hyper-V replica configuration.
That sounds fancy.
It's a lot of fun. It can end up saving your bacon when your data center gets flooded because you have copies of your servers in other locations.
So when Microsoft makes these exams, we literally fly in people from all around the world and ask them what is important to them. And something that really popped out at us was identity and access. You touched on it briefly. With the cloud these days, whether it's Office 365 or Azure or third-party hosters, talk just a little bit about how this exam, what skills that are validated.
Well, for The identity piece,
Yeah.
you've got to worry about how to implement a good, solid certificate-based authentication for being able to prove who you happen to be. You have to be able to identify how you want to exchange those identities with partners, that is your federation services. And you also want to be able to know how you can include those identities at a deeper level with managing your documents and managing your infrastructure. So, for instance, Active Directory Rights Management Services, or ADRMS, to be able to go in and to say, you know what, you can read these documents, you can access them, but you can't copy them, paste them, or print them unless you get to say, as the owner of the document, that I'm allowed to do that. So identity comes in as a key component as well.
Great. And so I also want to mention that this finishes out the MCSA, which is really the core for a lot of our other tracks. Even if you want to branch out into Exchange, Link, SharePoint, or infrastructure, private cloud, you name it, this is the fundamental skills that wraps all that up in a bow.
It definitely puts it all up in the bow, but it's not your endpoint for the destination. It's still another level to go up to, right?
That's a great point, the MCSE, which we'll talk about next time. So thanks for being here. We really appreciate it, and good luck.
Hey everybody, my name is Keith Mayer, and I'm an IT Pro Technical Evangelist at Microsoft in the US. In my role as an IT Pro Technical Evangelist, my focus is really to serve as an advocate for you as an IT professional in helping you learn and get certified on the latest Microsoft infrastructure technologies. And as part of that role, I'm really excited to be able to bring to you a new study group program called the Windows Server 2012 Early Experts Challenge. This program is a new pilot that we're offering in the United States to help prepare you for the new certification exams around Windows Server 2012 in a peer study group format that you can participate in and complete on your own time when you have availability in your schedule. As a pilot program, I'd really love to get any feedback that you have on the structure of the program and the value that it has to you, as well as any constructive input on how we can make this program better to serve the needs that you have in studying and preparing for Microsoft certification exams. You'll notice on my title slide I have all of my social media networks that I participate in. So you can feel free to connect with me on Twitter, on Facebook, or on LinkedIn. If you participate in any of those networks, I'd love to hear what you think of this program. I also maintain a blog at keithmayer.com that you can browse out to, and in addition to having information regarding Windows Server 2012 and this Early Experts Challenge, my blog also contains information across the Microsoft spectrum of interest to IT pros, and I'd encourage you to check it out. And if there's information that you're looking for that I can help you locate, just drop me a line on one of my social networks, and I'll be happy to roll that up to my blog and let you know when it's there. So the Windows Server 2012 Early Experts Challenge is an online, free study group program that we're organizing into a series of step-by-step knowledge quests. Each of these knowledge quests is essentially a learning path that allows you to step through evaluating your skills around Server 2012 in alignment to the new Microsoft certification exams. And initially we'll be targeting the very first certification exam, but our goal is, as we progress throughout this next year, to help you obtain the full MCSA Microsoft Certified Solutions Associate certification on Windows Server 2012. For the first exam, the knowledge quests are divided into a series of quests, beginning at the apprentice level and then progressing into more focused information around installing, exploring and configuring, networking and virtualizing with Windows Server 2012. At the end of each knowledge quest, when you complete them, you'll receive a special certificate of completion certification that identifies you as having completed that particular level of the program. And that's a certificate that you'll receive electronically so that you can print it out and post it in your office or at your desk for others to see. Or alternatively, you can publicize it on your own social media networks, on your Facebook page, LinkedIn profile, Twitter feed, and whatnot, to show the world that you've completed that level of knowledge around Windows Server 2012. For the Windows Server 2012 Early Experts Challenge, we'll be targeting each of the certification exams that are involved in the Microsoft Certified Solutions Associate, or MCSA program. For those that are new to Microsoft certification, in order to achieve the MCSA on Windows Server 2012 credential, there's 3 exams that are involved in the process. The very first exam, Exam 410, which currently, as of the date of this recording, is in beta, is the installing and configuring exam. In addition, Exam 411 covers exam topics relating to administering Windows Server, and Exam 412 covers advanced configuration topics relating to Windows Server 2012. Now, if you have a prior certification on the Windows Server 2008 or related products that are in the list that I have down towards the bottom of my slide, then you qualify for an upgrade path that accelerates the process of achieving MCSA on Windows Server 2012 by passing a single exam, Exam 417, the Upgrading Your Skills exam. Now, the 417 exam is a rather challenging exam in that it covers all of the new exam objectives from exams 410, 411, and 412 above in a single exam. And it targets specifically those new objectives that are new to the Server 2012 product since Windows Server 2008. As we go through the study process, we'll be targeting the top path towards achieving MCSA certification. We'll be starting off targeting the exam objectives in Exam 410, and then progressing on to exams 411 and 412. But as we go through that process, I'll be keen to note the specific study areas that also relate to Exam 417.
These 4 footprints here, this little 4-step process to becoming certified. And the first step, step number 1, says identify certification goal.
What do you want to be?
That's right. Figure out what you want to be, what you want to do, and then look at the certifications that Microsoft has in place and figure out what exams you should be taking. Once you've determined an exam that you need to take, you go to step 2, right? You put that second, that's why we have footprints down.
Yeah,
it's the second step. Is you want to find the gaps in your knowledge, right? There's certain objectives, and that's actually where we're going to spend the heart of, or really, the heart to really kind of the first half probably of this session. We're going to go through those objectives, and so as you're hearing the different objectives, you can figure out what gaps maybe you're a little bit weak in, and then your job from there is to then, step 3, fill those gaps. Okay, you need to go out there and get the extra experience, get the extra education, the extra knowledge, fill those gaps, and once you've done those 3 steps, well, that's where we get to the exciting part. We get to step 4, which is, well,
go take the exam.
Take the test. That's right. Go take the exam.
Yeah.
So
see how you do.
What we're going to do here today, just to make sure that we're very clear, is, we can't take you from 0% ready to take the test to 100% in an hour.
Right.
That would be awesome.
If you know how to do that, please let me know. That'd be great.
If we could somehow package that, we'd be very wealthy people.
Exactly.
But what we hopefully can do is we're hoping that you're maybe 80 to 90% there, and we can give you that little nudge towards 100%, at least give you the information so that you can go out and maybe we get you to 95%, and then you go do the rest of what you need to do and go get 100% ready and go take and pass that test.
That's right.
So the first step in those 4-step that we just took a look at was the, as far as identifying the certification. So let's take a look at the different Microsoft certifications, and you'll see here that we have the pyramid that we like to use.
Yes.
And
start
at the bottom,
from the foundation.
That's right. We start from that foundation, from the bottom of the pyramid, where you go for your Microsoft Certified Solutions Associate, MCSA.